Hello, and thank you guys so much for being here and being on. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you for joining in the first Intuitive You webinar call of 2020. And I wanted to kick off the new year with a really great topic, especially for this time of year, which is manifesting. I know this time of year, a lot of people are talking about goal setting, intention setting, and it can feel kind of overwhelming. And it can definitely be one of those things where I know when I first started working with intention setting, I almost didn't even know where to begin. Um, it's sort of like, any other practice. There's different ways in which you can go about manifesting. People have different ideas of what's important or how you're supposed to do it or when you're supposed to do it. So I've done a lot of research and I looked into some of my favorite healers and spiritual teachers to see what they had to say when it came to manifesting. I was mainly curious just to see what some of the common themes were when it came to intention setting and what these different people felt were important, and like I said, what those common threads were. So what we're going to do is I'm going to chat a bit about what manifesting is. I'm going to talk about why we should manifest and why we should set intentions. I'll give you guys some tips, sort of like a checklist of things to do when you're manifesting. Of course, I'll share some of my personal experiences and how I incorporate manifesting and intention setting into my life and where I've seen really positive results and things actually come to fruition. And then we're going to finish off with a little exercise. So you guys can get an idea of sort of a daily little practice you can take with you to incorporate. And I say daily practice because it will be a meditation. And so I know some people meditate every day, but this is also something you could do weekly or monthly or once a year. So what is manifesting? Google defines manifesting as displaying or showing a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance. So in other words, it's a demonstration. And I actually really like this definition because I like that Google points out that it is a quality or a feeling. And I'll get more into that in a second. So in essence, it's this idea of something you are embodying. And when we talk about manifesting, there's an energetic aspect to what's happening, which is why the feeling piece is so important. And when you are thinking about manifesting, it's about cultivating the experience of what you want to feel. And not only that experience of what you want to feel, but the energy behind that experience. And I know there's like a lot of like energies and feelings and words I'm throwing at you, and don't worry, I'm gonna totally dive in deeper. But just sort of know that manifesting happens on an energetic level. And we're all energy. I've talked about that before actually on this webinar. Einstein proved that everything is energy. We are energy. And therefore, what we put out, what we sort of omit on our vibrational field is what we attract, right? The law of attraction. I'm sure all of you guys have heard about that. And a really great example of this concept is think back to a day where everything kept going wrong. It could start out at the moment you got up out of bed, you stubbed your toe. and then you were stuck in traffic and were late to work, or you spilled your coffee, and then your boss yelled at you, and then you got in a fight with your roommate or your partner, and by the end of the day, you just think to yourself, everything has gone wrong today. And what was actually happening was that you were vibrating at a lower frequency. So you were attracting lower frequency experiences. And that's obviously a negative example. So you can take that concept and apply it to something more positive, something you desire. And so it's about feeling into what it is you want to bring into fruition, and then living and believing so much so in that experience that you embody it in the current moment. And as I was mentioning before, there is a chat feature, and I know I'm throwing a lot at you, so if there's ever a moment where you have a question or something's not making sense, please utilize the chat feature. I always keep an eye on it. Like I said, I'm gonna dive deeper into all of this. And so I think a really important thing to talk about before I even go deeper into what manifesting is and how to do it is why we should manifest. And I actually really love the way in which my Reiki master, Kelsey Patel, describes this. She says that setting an intention is activating a part of your receptivity. So I was essentially just talking about that, right? Activating a part of what it is you're going to receive, focusing on what it is you want to call in, right? So if you think about it, you could go out into your day and not set an intention, not have any sort of prayer or manifestation for how you want the day to go, and that's fine. But Kelsey says that's similar to getting onto a bike and not having a direction, which is okay. And I think that there is sort of something to be said about, allowing fate to just guide you and to not really having an intention set. But if you know of something you're trying to draw in, or you know of something that you're desiring, or you're just interested in cultivating a different experience for your everyday life, setting an intention is a really powerful tool to do that. Because therefore, you're then getting on the bike and you have a direction. You have sort of that end goal in mind. But not only that, you're going to be doing the things you need to do to attract that, and to align yourself even more with what it is you're trying to call in. And oftentimes people, they allow the day, the week, the month, or even the year or years to just kind of unfold. And again, that is okay. But I think maybe that could be when people find themselves in those situations of like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Or I can't believe this is where I'm living, and this is the job I have, and this is the type of relationship I'm in, or whatever it is. So it's really cool that we have this tool at our hands, at our disposal, to really take the time to think about, what it is you want, whether it be on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, or what you want, in terms of your year or your overall, life, if we're talking really big picture. So that's sort of the why. It's just this idea of, yes, of course, you don't have to manifest. You don't have to have your specific direction when you get on the bike, but there is something to be said about taking the time to really think about what it is you desire, and then to put into place actionable steps to get that. So then you can live your most joy-filled life. And that's the point, right? It's tuning in, tapping in, connecting, so that you can really feel into what it is you want your life to look like, even if it is on a small scale, even if it is just on a daily basis. And so then the outcome is something that brings you joy, brings you fulfillment, brings you happiness. And now for the good part, how to do it. And before we get into how to manifest, I do want to remind you that I did do my research, and I was looking into some amazing spiritual leaders and healers like Deepak Chopra, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Gabby Bernstein, my Reiki master, Kelsey Patel, Ram Dass. And I was looking at what these really influential people had to say when it came to manifesting. And I just took the time to see what the common thread was when these people sort of spoke about what to do when you want to manifest. And so that's how I created this list that I'm about to share with you. And if you're someone like me who's a note taker and like wants to jot everything down, don't worry, I'm going to send this list of what to do in the follow-up email. So for now, you don't have to worry so much about writing it all down. Okay, so how do we manifest? The first thing is to get clear. So that means going inward, listening, connecting, asking for guidance. And the way in which we do that is meditation. If you've listened to these webinars already, I'm sure you're sick of hearing me talk about meditating, but it's such a powerful tool. And it actually allows us to go beyond what the mind is saying. So to go beyond our daily thoughts, and gives you the opportunity to drop out of here down to here, to your heart space. So you can access your essential nature. You can connect to something greater, right? Whatever that something greater is to you. Some people refer to it as God or Buddha or source or universe, whatever it is that you believe in. Through meditation, we're able to connect to that greater source. And so therefore, you can actually feel into what you desire. And that's really, really important, because how else would you know what to manifest? How else would you know what intentions to set if you don't even know what you want? And it's a really beautiful thing, right? To take the time to kind of get out of our headspace. Our minds can be so limiting. Our minds can make up so many stories and ideas of what we're supposed to do or what our life is supposed to look like. And those ideas might not even be our own. Like, they could have been put there by your family, by society, by your friends. And so by meditating and actually quieting all that mind chatter, you can actually feel into what you want, what you desire. I really love this quote by Deepak Chopra. He says, "The heart is more refined and closer to your source than your mind, which easily gets confused and filled with doubts." So not only can the mind be limiting based off of stories or shoulds and coulds, but you might know one of your heart's desires and your mind could be telling you like, no, 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 you're not worthy, or no, 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 that's too scary. So it's through meditation that we can also quiet those fears and doubts that we, bring on our own, like on ourselves. So that's the first thing, get clear. Get clear, go inward, connect, ask for guidance, and do that through meditation. And of course, a daily meditation practice. The second thing is to say it, see it, and feel it. So it's the idea that what you put your attention on grows. And I was talking about this before, actually, when I was talking about what we put out, we then receive. And so, you've gotten clear, you've gone inward, you're listening to what your heart desires, And so now you need to really feel that. You need to put your energy into thinking thoughts that align with your desires. And it's because your energy and your thoughts, they create your reality. I love this quote by Albert Einstein. He says, logic will get you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. So again, it's this idea that our minds, yes, they can be very, very logical, but we actually need to tap into our imagination and this idea that we are infinite beings. We have so much power and so much capacity to create whatever reality we want. And when you can actually take the time to get clear and go inward, you then owe it to yourself to really feel that and to put it out there, right? So whether you put it out there, maybe by verbally communicating it, saying it out loud, maybe you journal it, maybe you make a vision board, whatever it is that works for you. But it's that idea that I was talking about before of really embodying that feeling. So that's the way in which we cultivate the experience. And that leads me to the third step, which is support it. So this is the idea of knowing your power. So first of all, knowing that you're worthy, because I know how hard it can be sometimes. You know, we can do all the meditation, get super clear. I can totally, you know, quote unquote, embody it, feel it, say it, write it in my journal. But if I don't feel worthy of it, I'm probably not going to attract it, right? So this is the idea of you really need to believe in yourself. And more importantly than that, you have to also do actionable things in the physical world to support that desire. So this sort of also goes along the lines with, we can't just sit on a rock and meditate all day, right? We live in this physical world, we're householders, physical beings, so we have to take actionable steps to attract what we want to desire. And that's also another way of putting a message out to the universe, right? Like if you're actually showing up and actually doing something that's in alignment with what you're manifesting, that's a very powerful tool to say, hey, universe or source or whomever, whatever it is you believe in, like, I really want this and I'm ready for this and I feel worthy of this. I believe in myself. It's really, really powerful. And we all have the ability to do that. The next one, the next step, step number 4, is really important as well. It is do not attach to the outcome and have patience. So we've gotten clear. We feel it. We believe in ourselves. We feel worthy. We're doing all the things. And for most of us, myself included, sometimes I can be like, okay, I'm doing everything I need to do. Like, well, why isn't what I desire like right in front of me? Or like, why do I not have whatever it is I want yet? And it's because things take time and we need to have patience. And also we shouldn't be so attached to the outcome. Ram Dass says, don't get caught in the manifestation. Get caught in what creates the manifestation. So it's just another way of saying, don't get so attached to the outcome. It's not about the outcome. It's also about, and it's more importantly about, what it is we're doing to get there, the process, right? Because if we're attaching to the outcome too, that's really not vibrating at a very high energy, is it? If you're feeling so obsessed with, you know, the result or the desire or the physical manifestation of what it is you're desiring, it's probably not so much in alignment with your truest self, your most essential nature. The 5th one, this step actually so many people talked about. It came up in so many places when I was reading about manifestation. And it is to accept where you are now and have gratitude for whatever you currently have in your life. This is really, really important because we do not want to manifest or set an intention from a place of scarcity. We want to set an intention from a place of love, from a place of gratitude, because if you have a scarcity mindset, chances are, again, you're probably not cultivating the experience, the energy of the experience that you want to create, right? So, for example, this is a really easy way to think about it. If you're desiring abundance, and each month when you go to pay your bills, you just sit there thinking, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. I can't believe I have to pay these bills again. I don't have enough money. You're putting that out there. You're acting as though you don't have enough. You're literally putting energy into cultivating an experience of scarcity. So it's really important to, instead, when the bills come every month and you go to pay the bills, you say, wow, I am so grateful to be able to pay my bills. I am so abundant. And it totally shifts the mindset. It totally shifts the experience. And it's such a different message you're putting out to the universe. And again, going back to steps 2 and 3, you really need to feel that. You need to believe that. You need to feel worthy of that, right? So you can't just be like, oh yeah, like I feel so grateful, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like really feel gratitude for whatever it is you currently have, and believe and know in your power to attract whatever it is you're desiring. So that it's not the idea of like, I want, I want, I want. Instead, it's, I'm so grateful, I'm so fulfilled, I'm so joy filled. And that's what I'm going to put out. And so you're just going to continue to attract more of that. And so that was a really important one. And then the final step number 6, is to, and this was also like literally every single person said this, everything I read, this came up. My own meditation coach even talks about this. The 6th step is to turn it over to the universe. So this is the idea that, you know, we've done like literally everything we could at this point, right? It's like we've gotten clear, we're really feeling it, we embody it, we feel super powerful, super worthy, we believe in ourselves, we have so much patience and gratitude, joy and love. And so this is the idea that, okay, you have literally done enough, you've done all you can, so now surrender. Turn it over to the universe. With effort always comes grace. And so allow your life to lead and to unfold. This is when you can finally say, okay, I've done enough. And the universe is working in my favor. My source is working in my favor. And I can now just surrender and enjoy the process. Like Ram Dass says, really take the time to just enjoy the process and then see where it leads you. There can be so much, you know, fun too in the process. And I'm excited to sort of share how I've enjoyed manifesting and the process of manifesting and intention setting, because it really is, it can be a lot of fun. So, okay, that was a lot. Just a reminder that there is the chat feature in case there's any questions up until this point. But yeah, so I think it's really this really beautiful process that's incorporating the mind, the body, the spirit. You know, we're working from a place of gratitude. And so now I want to talk a bit about how you can incorporate this into your daily life. And I'll share how I've incorporated manifesting into my daily life and, you know, even intention setting. And so this can be something that if you are feeling, like I was saying before, super overwhelmed by all of this, it just feels like a huge undertaking. Maybe you're someone who plays around with setting intentions just on a daily level or weekly or monthly. And maybe it's just one intention that you're setting. You know, people are constantly sharing their long list of intentions, and that's so beautiful. But if you're not there yet, that's totally fine. Having one word or one feeling that you're hoping to cultivate more of is plenty, and a really beautiful place to start. So having some sort of ritual, and that's why I'm going to take you guys through the meditation at the end of this, so you can get a taste of what a ritual could look like. But have some sort of ritual in place for setting your intentions and manifesting, I think is really important, especially because our first step is to get clear and go inward and meditate. It's really nice when you have, your ritualistic experience with that practice. And I personally, and again, this was sort of across the board, everyone was agreeing that having this daily meditation practice and having this just daily ritual of going inward and connecting is such a beautiful place to start. Even if, like I said, you're just doing it for the purpose of, I just want one word to feel today or for the week or for the month, that's perfect. But if you're someone who's like, I am ready to manifest my dream life, like 2020 is my year and I want to go big, I totally get you. That is exactly what led me to my first vision board workshop last January. And for something like that, for wanting to participate in a bigger manifestation ritual, I would recommend, setting aside maybe an afternoon or a few hours to give yourself the space to really, again, get clear and go inward and meditate on different areas and aspects of your life. And I'm going to show you my vision board actually in a second. But one way in which I've utilized manifestation and intention setting, so I've done it on like a daily level. So actually this morning I was in my meditation and I just really felt that I wanted to cultivate a feeling of more centeredness. And I didn't really think too much about why that came up. Instead, I was just like, oh, okay, like that's actually my intention for today. I'm not really someone that sets a daily intention, but it just came through and that was great. I personally love setting intentions once a month, usually around a new moon. New moons are a great time to kind of dream and manifest. So I've always found a lot of joy in doing that. And then, as I was just saying, I have done a large vision board, and I will show you my vision board. It's like this huge poster. And so the workshop I went to was put on by a woman named Danielle Cuccio. She's amazing. She does these workshops in LA once a year. So if you live in LA, I'll definitely include her information in the follow-up email. But the cool thing about her vision board workshop is, as you can kind of see here, she splits up the board into 9 different categories. So like I was saying before, if you're interested in manifesting for your, for the full year or for the next, 5 to 10 years, if you really want to go for it, I do recommend having, a few hours to really sit and think about like, what are the different areas of my life, career, relationship, abundance and prosperity, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can take the time to, what we did in Danielle's workshop was we meditated on each of the specific categories. So we really were able to connect and go inward and think about like what we desired for our career, what we desired for how I think it was this square that was all about how I want to be perceived. Like, what am I trying to embody as a human being in this physical, experience? There was also like relationships, like what type of relationships do you want? What type of partner do you want? What are some of your career goals? So she had all these different sort of categories. and we meditated on each of them. So it was a really, really awesome experience. And I'd love to share some of the things that I've already seen come to fruition in 2019. So, for example, down here, I have aloe and the Good Fest, because this whole square was about people I wanted to work with and things I wanted for my career. Oh my gosh, and there's Susie. I didn't even know that before. So I did a workshop at Aloe. I actually worked the Good Fest with my Reiki master, and Susie was on my last webinar call. So that's come to fruition. I also, this square was all about people I want to work with, people I look up to. Since making this vision board, I completed Kelsey's Reiki training. I did Kaylee's mentorship program. And this is my thyroid yoga mentor, and she and I actually led a workshop together, which was huge. And everyone always loves talking about this. I was definitely manifesting a relationship when I did this workshop. It was something that my heart was totally desiring, and I fell in love last year, which was just so incredible. So yeah, if you really take the time to think about what it is you desire, but then not only that, what does that look like? How does that feel? And then you take the time, again, to put it out there, put it down on paper, make a vision board, write a list in your journal, whatever it is, but then know you're worthy of it. Take the actionable steps. You know, I was manifesting a relationship, but I wasn't just sitting in and never going out. I actually downloaded a dating app, which is where I met my current boyfriend. It was like I actually did something to support what I was desiring, if that makes sense. And then, you know, again, it's about not attaching to the outcome, not having this expectation of a time frame of when these things you desire are going to show up or how they're going to show up. And then having gratitude, having so much gratitude for what you already have is so, so, so powerful. And then, of course, turning it over to the universe, trusting that you are worthy, you're doing everything you can. And if you're putting it out there and you're putting it out there in a positive, loving way, you will attract it. So that is my spiel. And I know it's a lot, but don't worry, it does get recorded, and I do send it out. And like I said, there's still time if you have any questions. But now I want to show you, I'm going to take you guys through a quick meditation so you can kind of sort of see what a daily ritual could be for you, how you have this ability to meditate, to go inward, to connect, and you have the ability to listen to what it is your heart's desiring and then put it out there. So as I was mentioning, if you're driving or cooking dinner, whatever it is you're doing, feel free to continue on as you are, especially if you're driving. Please do not close your eyes. I'm definitely realizing my time. So for those of you who have the space right now, I mentioned this actually earlier. If you are someone like me that likes to journal and jot things down, now would be a good time to grab a pen and paper. If you have an essential oil around that you want to grab or a crystal, you can also go grab that now. I'll give you guys a few moments.